many questions do you have?
I mean, I haven't really. I only got like probably like 3 or 4, but I'll probably look at mini chat as it goes and just ask stuff from there.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so
Yeah. I mean, we watched the feedback for the past 24 hours as well, so we kind of know the general idea. So
yeah, I'll let you guys brief everything first, then, and I'll just ask from there.
Sure.
Okay. What should I call the stage? Addressing Clashmas skin prices. Is that good? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's good. It's fine.
Okay. It's pinging everyone now.
Nice.
So more people will pop in. After we announce that again.
Yeah, once we start the event, there should be more people in the audience joining.
There we go. We got 5 now. Oh, someone just left.
But
back to 4. Back to 5.
And back to 4.
Well, it is a surprise stage channel. It's also in an non-ideal time. Yeah, it's like if we did this in the evening our time, it would be better. But we also kind of not sure if we're gonna stay in office until then, so it's gonna getting a little bit busy here and a little bit dangerous to be in office these days. So we kind of probably wanna. But yeah, anyway, this is being recorded, so no worries. This is the purpose of it is also to record it. So yeah, let's open this up. So me and Fan, full transparency here. We kind of watched the first 24 hours of Clashmas skins going live in the game in the shop, and basically, we saw the feedback on Reddit, on Discord, on Instagram, on Twitter, basically everywhere. And since we're not blind to the feedback, we want to kind of directly address it.
Yeah.
But before that, I kind of wanted to just hear your perception, Draco, because you have been on Discord for the past 24 hours.
Yeah.
How has it been? What are people saying in general?
Well, I mean, actually, we have. I'm sure you've seen it already, but there's that mini feedback thread where someone put a whole essay about skins in general. Like, I think the main concern was that last year, these skins were very, very cheap, and now this year they're expensive as heck. And what's going on? Why is it so expensive this year?
Yeah. So one of the things that we've done is actually we revamped the sound effects of all of these skins. So that was the first step. Another step was to also reintroduce these skins to the people that haven't gotten them. So the people that have gotten them previously, they kind of were the initial wave of players that were the lucky ones kind of to play the game early on and get this for the much lower price, and we're aware of it. And I did see that picture actually before and after kind of thing. But also just to kind of bring back the stuff that wasn't obtainable for those people before, and so it was kind of a balance of these kind of things. But we did want to also do much more overall improvement on these skins in terms of the sound, but we haven't gone around to do that. So basically, the Barbarian Christmas skin actually does have the sound effects that they're intended to have in this update. However, all the rest of them don't. And so the next time we update the game, those skins will automatically be upgraded to the new sound effects that they should have in them. So that's going to be kind of basically the improved version of those skins if you have them already in your collection. Fan, anything to add?
Yeah. So Vlad and I and the whole team has been reading online feedback and messages from players all the time. Not only yesterday, but also every day, right?
Yeah.
But yesterday was a very interesting day because we got a lot of feedback about that. We were anticipating a little bit like that because we know what we are doing. But definitely the volume of the feedback is definitely so huge that we feel like we have to react to players and address this. This is why we have this kind of sudden stage channel. Sorry about that. Nothing is prepared or planned, but I think we deserve to. Players deserve a response from us, so I think we should do that. So I think in general the most important message I want to get across. The first disclaimer, okay. So I'm definitely not here to convince anybody to buy these skins. That's not my goal. I'm also not here to convince you to think that we are right, we are making the right decision or not. I think as long as you get out of the state channel knowing a little bit why we are doing this, right? Because people ask for explanation. Yeah, I'm going to tell you why we decide what we do, but you don't have to agree with me. You can still think I'm stupid or I'm wrong. That's totally fine. Okay, but I think as a responsible developer, I have to let players know why we do what we do. Okay, here's why. First thing is that we are changing Clash Mini all the time, including the gameplay, including the look of the game, as you all see in Update 5, but also how the game can be operated in the long term, like I say 10 years, right?
Yeah.
In last year, before the Update 5, we always thought that we should follow the traditional Supercell model of having, gameplay on those minis and heroes, and then ask players to progress them, like Clash Royale, COC, Brawl Stars, FDL, any Supercell games, we're using the same model. We are a new team. We're trying to follow our, big brother's footsteps.
Yeah.
After 1 year of operating Clash Mini and making the game, we realized that that path might not be good for Clash Mini. Clash Mini has too much auto-battling element into this. Too much power means that your fate is decided by a lot of power, but you also lose control of that.
Yeah.
So when you lose, you're double screwed because you don't have the power, you don't have control. It feels so bad.
Yeah.
So that's the moment when we realize that Clash Mini cannot rely on deep power progression. That will ruin the gameplay. We saw so many matches when player A had much better placements and outplayed the opponent B. But because opponent B has better power, and the player A cannot react that within the game, with real-time actions, with his skills, because his skills cannot actually help him during the battle, so he lost. But that looks so terrible when somebody lost with better skill,
Yeah.
with auto battle and power. So we were like, okay, to make Clash Mini the game that's much better than what it is today, to make it actually a fun game to play, Clash Mini cannot rely on power. Clash Mini needs to be a game that has power progression, but not so deep that it decides the game. So we decided to find a better way to cap the power, ceiling, give players much better rewards to have a much better smooth experience to get all the powers. If you have played Clash Mini Update 5 as a new player or even old player, you probably feel that you can get to level 15 or level 13 with all skills leveled pretty easily. I created a new account starting from the end of Update 4, almost like 4 days before Update 4.
Yep.
I bought the Update 4 pass because I like the skin, but I haven't really progressed Update 4 pass. Then I bought Update 5 pass, Season 5 pass, sorry. Now I have my Shield Maiden level 15 and every skill leveled up. That's the cap. I reached Clash Mini's maximum power cap within 2 weeks. I only buy the pass a little bit. So that's how accessible, how easy to get to max level of power in this game that we want to be. If you think about this compared to our last year's, the cap, it's crazy, like how 10 times or even 20 times easier than what it used to have, right? For the normal free-to-play players. That's how much we care about free-to-play players. You get the power, you can play against each other much easier. But that raises another question to us. How do you run this service as a Supercell quality for 10 years? No, we cannot, because everyone can play this totally fine. Then people don't need to pay, and we don't want people to pay. That's fine, but we still want to keep having best developers, having best equipment to make the game keep better. And the Supercell wants us to keep improving, but we have to sustain this. So we were like, okay, then what do? We need to provide other things so that people can decide to play or opt out, right? It's just totally optional. You can purchase them or you can totally ignore them. So that's why we were like, okay, let's see what kind of new product we can bring to the game that can actually get some money. For example, skin was fine, but the old skins was too low quality. We don't feel that charging players a huge price for those skins is a good idea. So we're like, okay, let's make more types of products like the emotes, right? In the future, we'll have even more. We are working on them. But also let's level up their quality. For example, let's try to think about what else can we bring to a Christmas skin that can make them special and more valuable. And for players who don't want to buy them, it's totally fine, ignore them. But for players who really love them, you can pay, right? You can buy them. So we decided to have, the special sound effect. So if you move around your Jelly Barbarian King skin, you hear dun 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 dun. So we really love that, right? It's something you don't have to have. But for people who love this kind of like music, this experience, they may think it's worth a price. So okay, sounds good, let's try this. But what went wrong was that we we have the Barbarian King as the first wave in the game to test. So we put it in. Then we have all the other skins with these sound effects created and implemented. And the moment we want to put it into the game, we realize that we haven't developed the technology to put those into the game without fully asking players to re-download the whole game. So if we want, and changing the whole code and submit to Apple again. So basically we have to basically stop the current development and wait for really long days if we want to get the other skins into the game. So at this moment we face a really terrible dilemma. One is that we pause the development of the update 6 just to get all the 6 sound effects into the game so that all the Christmas skins have the sound effects. Or we keep the Barbarian King as what it is and put it in, let it has the sound effects, and later on we patch it in. By doing that, we don't stop the development of the next update. Players will get it, but a little bit later. And then that's what we see yesterday. All the skins have sound effect, but they are not in. And the Christmas time has arrived. If we wait for another 3 months in the spring, then we have the skins and the Christmas sounds, everything in it, but we don't have that choice. So what we did is that, okay, let's set the skin price there and set the expectation of the quality and keep improving it. And for players who don't like this, for players who think, okay, this is bad price, this is bad skin, I'm not going to buy, I think that's totally fine. That's totally fine. But for players who believe that, hey, these guys are reasonable developers, these guys will keep improving the game, and I think that is a product I like. For example, the sound effect, the Barbarian King. Okay, then that's a product I'm going to buy. I think that's okay. And if we think about the players who bought the Barbarian King skin last year, they spent gems and they got all the upgrades without spending anything. So we want to keep improving things. If we look at the Christmas skins today, that's what the quality is. After we have update 6, all the sound effects will be in, and we'll keep improving the skins, and the next year we'll get even more things into this. Just like the gameplay itself, like we don't want to just stop at where we were. We always want to put new content into the game, new gameplay into the game, and the new art into the game, make the game better. So that's what happened. It's like we have to use the timing, because Christmas doesn't happen like in January or February, right? Yeah. So it's a really tough choice there. But what we could do much better, I think, communication wise, is to let players know that, hey, sorry, due to technology issues, we cannot put all the sound effects into the skins, but they will be there in the next updates. Sorry about that. And we cannot sell Christmas skins in February. That's why we are selling it now. But we have,
yeah.
Sorry.
But on top of that, like, I feel like we should be aware that, like, we are doing not the greatest job of communicating what makes the skin special before you purchase it.
Yeah.
The fact that you go to the shop and the only thing that you can see is the 3D model, without any visual effects, without any sound, without any real world example of how does this skin play in the real world once you purchase it, is definitely something we need to do better at. And I don't think we are there yet. And so, like, from the player experience perspective, I can very easily see that people would be questioning all of these skins and are they worth it? Even the A1000 and Borbot, like nobody really knows that A1000 has a special attack animation or a special sound until you actually get the skin. But then you kind of realize like, oh, okay, that's sweet, that's like an added value on top, but we should have communicated that much earlier before the purchase actually happens. So there is ways to go, both in terms of like communicating what is the value of the skin, and also why certain aspects of the skin are missing or otherwise are not present in the game. So
yeah, and we by adding more like things like sound into the skins, we realize that fewer people may buy it because it's more expensive, right? It's a more complicated way. It's a bigger package, right? But we could be wrong here, by the way. But we were feeling that it's okay. We don't think how to say this feeling. We give players something that's not good, but more people buy it, and then we be satisfied. We rather, even though if I can choose, I rather less player pay for the game, but what they pay is something much cooler, much more well designed, and it has much more things in it. So for example, let's say 10 players buy the old Barbarian King skin, the jelly skin without the sound effects. 100 players buy that, right? Versus one player buy the new one, but the new one is much cooler with all kinds of crazy things. Personally, I may prefer the last one because that one creates a better experience. That one is just like different experience from the previous experience. So that for the developers ourselves, the things as within the things we can show, the players who actually buy that experience will be better. The thing we could do even better is that after we realize, oh, if I put like a special animation in, all the cool sound effects in, all the cool animation, it reaches to a price point where a lot of players cannot even afford it. So that's not the problem or the issue of that skin. It's that we haven't provided different tiers of product, enough range of products for players. And then what we should do is not to lower the skin's quality to fit the different kind of like tiers of product we have. Then we need to diversify and have different price points and different products for different players. The another mistake I think personally I made is that we just don't have enough different tiers of skins.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have enough like the labels that tell you, hey, this one has like a new model, this one has new effects, this one has new sound. We don't have that. We just have, okay, this is a Christmas skin, this is another skin. That's it. So in the future, what we can do much better is that have different like tags on the skins to tell you that, okay, what this skin have, right? And the more things this skin has, the more the more costly it is to make them, and so it costs more. We haven't done that. So those are the things we need to improve. Create better clarity on what the skins has, create better tiers so that we can provide different like a different range of tiers of products and different range of the services that we can provide.
Yeah.
So those are the things we learn from this, and we will need to improve.
But also, like, I think a lot of players that, like, I think like some of the feedback that I've seen is that some people behave like we do not have any skins available for gems, and that is not true. Like, there is plenty of skins available for gems actually in the shop, except that I think majority that is writing about that is that the people that already have those skins. So the big fish bowler, for example, and stuff like that, like all these like skins that are at the bottom, like of the like lower part of the shop. So it's a balancing act of like deciding that. But yeah. So Draco, you've been watching this. Is there anything else that you think we haven't addressed so far?
Yeah, I mean, some people have made a comparison between Brawl Stars and Clashmas. Like, both have some really good skins, good animations. Maybe not music, but good sound. Good, just really good skins, high tier skins. And they don't charge like 11 euros, or even more than that. They charge way less than that. How come Clash Mini, is so expensive, even just for sound?
Sure. So, personally, I think it's really hard to compare game to game. Gameplay is different, right?
Yeah.
And that's the business model is also different. Clash Mini, we are trying to do much lower power cap so that you don't need to think too much about I have to grind the power to compete with other players to be competitive, right?
Yeah.
If you think about on that front, Clash Mini is a totally different game than Brawl Stars. Then on the cosmetic side, then we think those should be the same. Then it's a little bit not. I'm not saying unfair, but it's really hard to for us to do to make both like the side that we are a little bit weaker at to be exactly competitive as them, but the other side that we are as good, a little bit better than them to be also the same as them. So to be the same is not what we want. Every product is different based on their gameplay.
Yeah.
So that the way they need to sustain the team is different. To make money is different. So, but we don't. But we don't think. So this is a decision that the team has made. It could be a wrong decision, and if it is a wrong decision, that it's proof that it's actually a way to not make us more sustainable, but less sustainable. We have to correct from that. At least update 5, season 5, we just started to make power much easier to get and make everyone much fairer to play the game, and try to balance it by having better skins or better cosmetic like services. We could be wrong, and if we were wrong, we have two choices. One is go back to the other superstar models, charge more for or put more like power. So hey, level 20, level 25, level 100. I personally don't like that. In the last stage channel, I said, as long as I'm here, I will try my best to stop anybody to add more power cap into the game, to ask players to grind for power even more. I will never do that if I'm, because I, as a PvP game player, I don't like the developer to ask me to keep getting powers to be just like equally powerful than other people. And so I don't want to go back to that route, even though that is a route, right? I can go back to like Brawl Stars, and maybe by doing that we can make skins less. But the most important thing to me is that how much effort we put into the skin, how good quality can it be. For example, the sounds, right? This time because like Christmas is a special thing to us. It's a memorable experience. It's very different from the fish, right? The Christmas skin has a like special memory. So we felt like, okay, to create a very special experience, a feeling. How do you do that, right? You can do that by double down on the visuals, double on the effect. You can also try to let players have like different experience that they never experienced before. For example, putting the dun 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 into the game, right? We thought players may like that because it's visual, right? It's audio, right? It's sound. And it when you have the sound and the visual and everything all together, it creates a more holistic like experience. We saw that could be a better experience. If we turned out that that's wrong, players actually don't care about the sound. For Clash Mini players, sound that doesn't make sense. People maybe turn off their sound all the time. Then we realize we are mistake. We are wrong. So the next time we'll know, okay, our players don't like sounds. We like these kind of special sounds. To make Christmas even more special for them, let's work on something else, right? Maybe it's VFX. Maybe it's animation. Oh, players love Christmas animation. What is a special Christmas animation that we can add to the Christmas skin? I can make the Christmas experience special and memorable. Let's do that next time, right? Yeah. We've always been thinking about this. This time we thought music could be very special for the Christmas experience. That's why we add them into the Christmas skin. We haven't added that to the big fish skin. So if we make a mistake, we are correct from that. But I think going back to asking players to grind for power, we don't want to do that, and we'll probably try to make our skin quality better, create more products to try to compensate for the loss on the power side. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, another question was, so going forward. Well, it's not really a question from people, but like going forward, are all skins gonna have sound effects so they're gonna be so expensive, or just like non-Christmas skins, like other skins? How are they gonna be in price-wise?
Yeah. I think so. First, I think one mistake I can mention again that based on this feedback we saw yesterday, that I think providing different tiers of experience is really important, right? Because some players, I just don't want to spend like $10 on this. If you force me to do that, I just opt out. Then I feel bad. So providing more tiers of services is something we should do. We'll do that. So that's something we learned from this. And thank you for all the players give us feedback. In terms of improving skin experience, we'll always do that.
Yeah.
For Christmas, because the Christmas sound, right? Dun, 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 that's very special. So we felt that that's the best way. Audio is the best way for these guys. But maybe for another kind of, like a special thing, maybe it's not. For example, the robots, right? If you think about robots, having a special robot for them, it's not the best way to make the experience special and cool. It's the VFX, right? It's the animation, because the robots, their animation is different from other skins. Their VFX different. Their technology is so advanced. So for robots, we decided to do, animation and VFX. It really depends on what kind of skin it is. If let's say if it is a skin, let me just make an example, right? Let's say we in the future we have a new season. In the season, it's featuring evolution, right? Then maybe the skins for that season is about evoluting. For example, the skin starts with a basic model. After you have 1 star, it grow and change a little bit. Like the barbarian, right? The sword, maybe instead of have 1 sword, you have 2 swords because you upgraded the speed one, right? So if and later you upgrade the critical one, or maybe the sword become like a golden or sharper or even bigger, right? It evolves. And in the last one, when you upgraded the raw, he give buffs to nearby allies. We give him like a speaker, right? Like a, how do you call that? The thing that people
Microphone.
microphone, right?
Microphone.
On his like chest, so that we upgrade all these things. He has 2 swords, bigger sword, and a microphone on his chest. That this skin evolves because the theme of that season is about evolution, right? So it really depends on like what fits this theme of this skin and what kind of holistic experience we feel that's appropriate to this set of this kind of like series, right? Christmas series, music is very important, so we add music. But for future ones, we may do different things. But the goal is to keep making things better. Yeah.
I mean, I'll see what people are saying in mini chat. If there's anything you guys want to address, anything else from listening.
Sure. Yeah, it's pure transparency. Anything. Yeah, just ask us. Yeah, anything.
Okay, I can see people are typing. Hopefully, someone's got anything. This is the time to speak up because Frame and Fan are here. About the skins, not about other stuff. And let's see. Yeah, I don't think. Oh, there we go. Obviously, you aren't gonna make money if your game is free. Using skins to try to make people pay isn't gonna work. Well, I mean, Fan just addressed that. He said, if it's not working, they can, turn it back and then go back to like, a Brawl Stars model or Clash Royale model, add more levels they have to.
Sorry, Draco. Let me answer that again. I think it's a great question, though.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So yes, they may not work. The feedback we saw from the community yesterday is a sign that we may make some mistakes, right? It may turn out that the higher skin price don't work.
Yeah.
That just tells us that our players do not want to spend money on higher quality skins. Then what we can do is, of course, as a team, as a developer myself, I will not try to sell powers, because I think power is even worse than skins, right? I think players will, at least I believe Clash Mini cannot as a game, the gameplay of Clash Mini cannot having more powers. Even some players may say, "Hey, fan, I love powers. Give me more powers." I was sorry. Clash Mini's gameplay cannot sustain more powers. So sorry about that. You just have to play with this kind of power cap we have, right?
Yeah.
I will not to do that unless I have no choice. But by that time, I think the result may be killing Clash Mini, because that means that I either make a game that I don't think is a great product on the gameplay side because the game has too much power that I don't think is healthy for the game, and then we failed on finding a way to monetize the game. Then the result of that is Clash Mini getting killed, right? Like, I don't want that to happen, and I don't want us, as a designer, to surrender my faith in how I design games.
Yeah.
What I can do is find other ways, right? Maybe subscription model works. I don't know. Maybe players love that. We'll explore, right? Learn and try and fail and learn again. Maybe players like better emotes. Let's see if players can get emotes there. Or maybe players love just let's say you don't like skins. Maybe you like VFX, right? Is it possible we just ask you to give players a chance or the ability to customize their attack VFX? Or maybe players love, I love animation. I don't want to pay for skin, but I love special animations. Maybe we can try to find a way to let players customize their animation, right?
Yeah.
So for us, it is really important that we need to work with the community, work with players to realize that I learn from the community. I learn from all the things we see, that what does Clash Mini players love. For example, do you love the game boards? Maybe some players love the game boards, right? Maybe instead of selling skin, we can sell, put some cool game boards that the players can purchase. Maybe players love pets, right? Maybe figure out a way to get pets into the game. I don't know, right? I love cats. I really love cats, by the way, but I don't have cats in Clash Mini. Maybe I want to have a cat. So those are the things we have to explore and get out, and then we will make mistakes along the way. But to not sell power, to have a very low power cap in a game is really dangerous, because we are basically abandoning the model that other Supercell game has proved successful.
Yeah.
We are the first team who want to find a new way to make a Supercell game. That's something no one has done before in Supercell, and we will make a lot of mistakes. But I'm willing to admit that I made a mistake and then improve, rather than do something I think is wrong, like selling powers. So if I make mistakes, please, like everyone who did yesterday, gave us feedback. We are listening. We are try to improve. We may still make mistakes, but we are always listening, and we are always transparent and open and willing to take and listen to more feedback. Yeah.
And also, like, I personally, I don't know. I personally like the games that are relying much more on cosmetics rather than power. Fan worked on this little game called League of Legends that I'm a fan of. Once you hit your level cap, you've hit your level cap. There's nothing else to do, right? Like I don't know what else you can do in this game where you you can show your power to people. Like that's pretty much it. Game over, right? And we already kind of talked about it in the previous stage channel about potentially removing Star Exchange completely, which also would mean that the star powers are pretty much gone. It's like once you get them up to the maximum level, you're pretty much done.
You have everything.
You have everything. Like, you don't need to worry about your minis whatsoever. The only thing that's left is like hero levels that can be ground up over time for free. So it's like, okay, sure, there we go, right? But then, like, how do you sustain the game? And that the solution is, cosmetics. And it's like just visual stuff. It doesn't affect gameplay whatsoever. And I'm a huge fan of that. So yeah.
Oh, by the way, sorry, let me add one more thing. Maybe I'm a little bit wordy, but there's another thing to this. Our goal when we make Clash Mini is that we want the game to be played by as many players as possible, right? We want Clash Mini to be the most. Everyone can play Clash Mini. That's my goal. Anything that stops players from playing Clash Mini is something we have to fight against and try to remove.
Yeah.
By having less power cap into the game, more players can play the game, right? Because I don't need to pay money to be competitive. I can beat the #1 player in the world if I'm skillful enough. I don't have to pay any money to do that. In Clash Mini, I just did, right? Like my new account in a new season, I just bought the pass. I have fully leveled Shield Maiden, and I think I play her every day. I think she's so fun, right? Like, I feel like I'm competitive. What stops me from beating E2 and all the other great guys out there is my skills.
Yeah.
It's not power, not money. I feel so good about that because I think the feeling that I have to pay money to be as competitive as other players feels so bad for PvP game. And for a game that wants to be played by a lot of people, more people can play the game for free, competitively, and have a lot of fun from doing that is the most important thing we need to do. So the more players we have to play, the more players we have to serve, and we have to just make the service sustainable.
Yeah.
So the more we have, the much burden on our shoulder to make sure that we don't get killed. Because if we get killed, we cannot serve all these players who love Clash Mini, right? So we have to work harder on like finding out what Clash Mini players really want and what Clash Mini players really love and what players really enjoy. If we found those things, I think for players who actually want to support us, they will find a way to support us. For players who want to play Clash Mini but don't think we have yet provided the things they want, it's fine. We'll keep exploring. We'll keep finding and developing new things to satisfy as many players as we can.
I mean, a lot of people are here. I think Full Frontage especially are saying, you know, like a lot of cosmetic prices doesn't. I mean, a high cosmetic price shouldn't equal, you know, which I think I read that wrong. Give me a second. I saw it somewhere. Here we go. He said spending money on power shouldn't equal highly priced skins. And Abdud was saying that, you know, like there are people who want every single skin for collection purposes. But if you know, raise the price for the one with music, it makes it really hard to get those skins.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. I think, how do you reply to it? It's a tough one. Okay, so, I understand that some players want to collect everything.
Yeah.
It's the fundamental question of, is Clash Mini a game that we want everyone to collect everything? Or is Clash Mini that a game that's about PvP and showing off the best skills and play and enjoy from the game? Like I said last time, that the most important thing I want players to play Clash Mini is because of the competitiveness. It's about the fun I got from like finding another players and mind gaming each other, right? Collection, skins, to me is always the secondary.
Yeah.
And if players think, okay, I play Clash Mini to collect everything, maybe that's an incentive that we cannot always serve. Let's say, hey, I want to collect all the cool skins. Maybe Clash Mini team should stop making new heroes. Should stop making new gameplay. Should stop making new minis. That makes it much easier to collect every mini and every hero. But that's not the Clash Mini I think deserve to be made. That's another collecting game. Maybe we should make another game that's purely about collecting, right? Let's say you collect clothes, you collect decorations. We should make another game like that.
Yeah.
But Clash Mini is not that kind of game. It's a PvP game. So we will spend most of our efforts on making the PvP fighting other players, like the game fun, right? The game exciting, like more strategic options, more different ways to build your deck, right? More game modes. Like those fundamentally hurts the purpose of collecting everything. So like as a game team with so limited people, we cannot make everyone happy.
Yeah.
And for the player who want to collect everything, sorry, the Clash Mini team don't have enough bandwidth to satisfy all the things you want, because we just need to make a choice of like who do we actually support and serve.
Well, one of the things that to remember is that we also do want to reward players that are highly skilled with rewards that they deserve, and
exactly
we don't really have those mechanisms yet in the game. So if people are really good at the game and they're playing the game for a very long time, for a very many amounts of hours, that doesn't mean that we don't want to reward those people for spending the time and the effort and being good at the game with cosmetics that they deserve for the time limited amount of time that they've spent in the game for a certain season or whatever it is. So we are working on that. We are working on expanding the amount of rewards that people can earn for free just because they're good at a game, or just because they've reached a certain milestone in the game, and showing those things off.
Yeah.
Skins are just one part of the game that you can obtain via real money or gems or whatever it is, crystal coins, right? Like so we are just missing a huge chunk of rewards that are in the game other than stuff that you can buy for like gems and cash, right?
Yeah.
So the main point is that people are focusing on this a lot because they have nothing else to focus on, right? There is no other sources of prestige, other sources of skin showing off to kind of balance these things out. Because if you can imagine Clash Mini being a game where it has a bunch of crystal coin skins, a bunch of gem skins, a bunch of cash skins, a bunch of prestige skins that you can get only by being a top 1000 player, well, guess what? Now you have so many sources of places that you can go for, and I think the community and players are going to realize which one is worth showing off, because every game that has cosmetics has multiple cosmetics for each hero, for each mini, for each whatever you have, right? And it's your judgment which one you want to show off. And ultimately, it is your decision, like, to tell us, do you want to get this, or do you want to go and aim for another goal? But again, we're missing a lot of those kind of things in the game, and we're working on that to kind of like expand it so players have many more options to choose from the big pool that we're eventually wanting to build. So I understand the short-term focus of yelling at us for like having these limited amount of skins. To be honest, I also wasn't a huge fan of like bringing back the skins that already existed in the game. But if you take a look at the scope and the size of Update 5, we just simply didn't have any more time left. We even extended the time to develop Update 5 to put everything in terms of gizmos and gameplay and revamping the visuals and all that stuff. And just adding like 6 more Clashmas skins on top of that would be just impossible to do. So, you know, in the ideal world, we would also release a new set of skins that would also kind of be much easier to understand from that perspective. But yeah, that's just something that I wanted to kind of address as well.
From what I'm seeing, I think people understand that, you know, there should be separate tiers for skins, and like, you know, like there should be a cheaper range of skins and an expensive range of skins. They just think the current price isn't it. I'm sure you guys will, you know, look into that more over time, but that's what people are saying here.
Sure. I mean, listen, like, we are not blind. We see the data.
Yeah.
Like, we are going to see if they are buying these skins or they're not buying these skins. Like, they will tell us. Like, it's very easy, actually. Like, we can just tell, like, if people are excited to buy these or not. And that's okay. You know, that's also the right feedback, right?
Yeah, definitely. One, I just repeat myself again that the technology mistake we have stopped us from putting all the special Christmas music sound effects into the other Christmas skins. So they were meant to have like a brand new like the effects, and it's different from the Barbarian King one. Barbarian King Jingle Bell. It's different from other guys' Jingle Bell. So it's actually really cool because you have all of them on your team. You can play music with different it's different Jingle Bells. It feels really fun. We had a lot of fun internally, but we didn't realize that we don't have that technology on the way of like updating the game. We were like so bad. So the Christmas skins that meant to be the higher side in terms of like quality and the whole experience.
Yeah.
And like Vlad said, Frame said, based on the metrics we see, right, we are seeing data every day coming into our system. I think if we see, okay, put everything into this price tier makes players not happy and don't want to engage with system at all. What we can do naturally is, okay, how do we create another well, not one, maybe even more tiers so that more people can engage with system. So maybe 10 is too much. because different places the price is different. I don't know, but maybe the current price is not the right for place. Then we'll create lower ones. We need to look at our data and understand like what's going on right now, right?
Yeah.
We are still seeing things to come. We are reacting to some of them, right? For example, the community feedback is something that we consider so much. Last night, Vlad and I, we were like discussing about this all night, and this morning I woke him up like by text and told him, hey, we need to react to this because we know that we will learn from this process. And you play as well. And also, another question is like, okay, who decides is Christmas skins low tier or higher tier? This time we think Christmas skins should be high tier because we think Christmas is a really happy time, is a moment that everyone celebrates the year, is a happy moment. It should have a good holistic experience associated with it. So we felt Christmas skins should on the higher tier. So we made that decision. And if the data, if the players, you guys, the community and the data told us, hey, friend, you are wrong. Christmas shouldn't be the high tier. The Christmas should be low tier. Okay, then sorry, next year we may do something else to correct our mistakes. Or if the message we learn is that, hey, Christmas should be a moment where we have all the fancy, cool, experience, but don't make all of them the same, right? You have 5 Christmas skins, maybe 3 of them are like fully, sound, effects, everything so cool, more expensive. That's okay. But maybe you leave one that's like much affordable, much accessible for us. That's fine too, right? Maybe that's a lesson we learn. So in the future, we may create still a Christmas product that's much easier to access, right? This time we thought the crystal coin spear goblin should do the job, but maybe we're wrong. So then we'll learn from that and just like change and correct according to those lessons we learn. Yeah.
A question from Abdud is, if all skins cost gems, even an absurd amount, wouldn't gems translate into real money after a while when the economy balances out?
So that's a great question. Love you. I love that question so much. So this also speaks to the future. That's why I do not want to promise too many things earlier because I know, but I think to be honest and transparent, we will never be able to ignore or evade this question, right? So I'm waiting this question. Great. So I have to speak a little bit about the future. For the longest time, we felt that the way we game out, the way the whole game economy, the way it's structured, is really bad. It's so chaotic. We did so many like changes and things here and there to make the economy of the game really, really awkward.
Yeah.
It reached the point where, as a developer, it's almost like impossible to operate the current economy system. And also we have a few more economy currencies into the game. We are in the process of like reworking everything and just like changing the economy. So gem, crystal coins, gold, shards, everything. It's just so complicated. So we need to spend time to clean up and make a much easier and understandable economy system. In the same time, the Christmas was approaching. So at that moment, we felt that, hey, we can try to use gems, but the gems is already so chaotic. And there's no way we can just decide what's the right way to sell them in a way that we also don't, we also don't hurt our future actions that will correct or change the current economy system. Cash is the cleanest because it doesn't touch the current in-game economy. So this time we decided to do that. I know it could be very painful for some players, but at that time we don't have a choice, because if we use gems, then next year players will say the same thing. Okay, why don't you use gems? But it is flawed in so many ways that we are already like trying to fix it. It's like somebody is like having a alarm issue, and the knives are cutting his alarm off to try to operate and fix it. But then this guy needs to use his llama to breathe again. The llama will get really hurt. So we probably will try to use another machine to help this guy breathe. Right? That would be much better. So jam, the economy of the game, is basically going through an operation, that surgery that just make it much healthier, much more long-term sustainable, and just adding more pressure or adding more work onto this system is not going to be good for everyone, for the health of the game in the long run. So that's why this time we decide to, don't touch the gem system this time, and try to do away. That's much cleaner, and that touches less problematic systems.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna love the next small talk then.
Okay. Okay. So there might be a question that players may not want to ask, but I'll try to ask as if I'm a player. Okay. If I don't want to pay anything in Clash Mini, what can I get? If I just don't want to pay any money because I just want to play the game, does that mean that I get no cosmetic? Does that mean I don't get any prestige? Does that mean that I will just look really bad compared to all the other guys who paid a lot, right? As a player myself, I play some games I don't want to pay money, but I don't want to feel that I look really bad. I also want to look cool, right?
Yeah.
I'll ask that question just as if I'm a player myself. Yes, I'm a player, so I don't like that feeling. I don't want to pay for the game because I just don't want to pay. That's okay, right? But I love the game. I want to play the game. How can we do that? So that's actually why we are changing the whole economy system. The old one is so bad that it just doesn't serve any players, right? There are some players who really want to play the game and pay money. There are players who don't want to pay but also want to get cool, right? The current system just does not help. It's really bad. So we are trying to, the goal we want to achieve in the next updates in the future is that players who don't pay any money, they have reliable way of getting really cool things that only them can get.
Yep.
It's so cool and so exclusive that they feel they earned it without spending anything. There are players who are so active with Clash Mini. They are not skillful. They are not, paying any money, but they are just active. They will be rewarded with things that's so special to them, that acknowledge their love with Clash Mini, their engagement will have that. There will be players who don't pay any money, who don't engage with the game, but they are so skillful. They only play one game a day, but they are so damn skillful that they also want to be rewarded and remembered and show off that, okay, we'll try to have a product for that. There are players who are not good, players who are not skillful, they don't want to play the game, but they have a lot of money. They just want to show off all the cool things they get. Okay, we also need to serve them. So there are different incentives from different players that we all need to serve. Not especially, but if you think about the last guy I mentioned, I don't play the game long, but I think the game is cool and fun. I'm not skillful, but I think, yeah, I sometimes play but I really want to show off. And I don't mind paying a lot of money for this game. Those guys, we still have to serve them and we actually really need to serve these guys because they can help a lot of players who don't want to pay enjoy a much better game. So we need to have product for them, right? If you think about all the other players who don't want to pay, and me as part of them, right? I play a game, I sometimes just don't want to play, right? I really love those guys to play the game because they can help me enjoy a much better game. So we need to serve them too. So in order to serve all the different purposes, different type of players, we need to diversify the way we we need to have a really strong economy system that can serve all different needs of the players. That's why the task is so hard. That's why we are reworking everything. Because previously we wouldn't think so. Because previously everything was focused on power, right? But now, because we are changing that mindset, it's such a so fundamental mindset, which make the other tasks like changing the economy that can serve all these players without based on power is so difficult. That's why the work will be, I think, continuous for another two updates.
Yep.
But I think in next updates, players will start to see some of the early progress we have in terms of having different rewards for all kinds of different players. And in the next season, let's say season 7, you will see even more of the things that actually serve different players. So this season 5, we just start off reforming the whole economy. Yeah. But the goal is to serve different players. Every type of player can find something in Clash Me that they can show off. They feel good. They feel their characters look cool. They feel the game look really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much addressed what everyone's been saying so far, unless, you know, anyone else has anything else in the chat. But I think you've pretty much said everything.
Yeah, I mean, again, we also can go in circles with this one, like, for a long time.
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost, but I do want to hear more of you guys, and so keep writing on the feedback channel. I'll also be watching creators' videos and coverage of this on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever they want to talk about it. And we just wanted to kind of jump in and quickly kind of like put it into perspective of like this whole situation before the weekend hits, because we would probably feel pretty bad not addressing this before the weekend. And then tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary event, so everybody can get the animated emote pretty quickly, I guess, especially this community that's listening to this stage channel. So hopefully that's going to be something fun to do. But yeah, thank you everyone for...
Sorry, can I say one more thing before we wrap this up? So, how do you say this feeling? We have a lot of creators in the audience. We have a lot of very active players in the audience.
Yep.
Please just say what you think in your mind. Don't feel that, hey, if I say this, this team hates me or something like that. Don't say that. If you feel the skin is overpriced, say it's overpriced. Say in your video, say in your like a Twitter, it's totally fine.
Yep.
But please do us a favor, tell us why. Because the most important thing, it's not about, hey, I think this is too expensive, I don't like it. That's helpful in a way, but not super helpful. The most helpful way is that tell us what you think, why you think this is bad. Describe that feeling when you open that shop. What makes you feel so angry about like the price? Oh my God, it's all cash. I hate all cash because I have a lot of gems. That's super helpful for us because that helps us understand, okay, for some players, this is why they don't like this feeling. So we can know how can we do better to serve this, right? But if every message is like, I hate this is too much, then it's really hard for us to understand a little bit deeper. So if anyone can do us a favor, like just say loud how you feel, say in the community, say in Discord, say in your video, tell us why, right? Tell us how you feel, describe that feeling. That really helps us as a developer to really solve this problem with you guys all together. Because if we think about the task we are doing together, not just the Clash mini team, not just us. Clash mini team cannot solve this problem just by ourselves. We are just too little team. We need to work with the massive players we have. We need to with the community guys to really find a way to solve the dilemma between power and sustaining a long-term game. We don't want to sell power. How do we sustain a game, right? We cannot solve it by ourselves. We need to work with you guys to solve this together. So let's do this together. Tell us how you think. Tell us if you like this design or not. Do you like this choice we make or not? And why, right? And I actually believe that we can solve this all together if we are honest. As a developers, we're honest to players. And also as players, if you guys are honest about to us, how you feel, yeah, that's super helpful. And I think we working together, we'll probably crack this really hard problem together and make a game that's really fun to play, that's not pay to win, and that every player, a different type of player, can find something they can show off. They feel cool, their game looks cool, their board looks cool, their characters look cool. That kind of game, we can make that game together. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, mini feedback's always open for feedback. You guys are always reading that, and you know, if you say anything in the chat, you know, I can always look at it and, you know, pass it on to Frame or Fan, and you know, feedback will always make its way to Supercell, regardless of where you put it. So, you know, make your voice heard, like Fan was saying.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. Hopefully the recording of this is going to be out and people can listen to the whole conversation later. And then if they're curious, if they keep complaining, we can link them to this. And then once they finish listening to this, they can come back to us and give us more feedback. And Chadden, Full Frontage, Spoob, Abdude, all of you guys that are in the audience, keep making videos, keep telling us how you feel about the game, and we will watch those videos, because trust me, there's nothing more enjoyable than to watch a video that's titled "My Honest Review of whatever it is." That's one of the like funniest things in the Clash Mini community, because every time there's an honest review, I'm expecting brutal honesty and very harsh words, but in reality, we get much more praise so far, at least. So let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see how honest reviews continue going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting you guys to make honest review of skins, but overall package is much more important. The vision of the game and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'll see you guys on weekends for the anniversary event, which is late, haha. Have fun on the weekend for that one, and let us know how you feel about that one as well.
Yeah. All right. Well,
so yeah.
Thank you, Frame and Fan, for coming on really quickly to address the skin prices. Everyone really appreciates how active you guys are in communicating. I'm sure they do, at least. And yeah, thanks for coming. Thank everyone else in the audience for coming.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone in the audience. Love you all. Thank you.
Yep.
Goodbye,
Keep talking
guys.
to us, and see you guys later.
Later. Bye.
Bye.